Danke für die wunderschöne
for the
Einbegleitung mit
wonderful
Gaudeamus Igitur.
introduction with Gaudeamus Igitur.
Frei übersetzt,
Well, we can
lasst
translate
uns
that.
also fröhlich
Let's
sein.
be happy.
Dieses berühmte
Well,
Lied
this very famous
dieses
song
traditionelle Lied der
and this
Studierenden
traditional song of all
bringt uns
students
zurecht in eine sehr festliche
is
Stimmung.
really bringing a very
Und weiter heißt es im Lied,
celebrating mood.
Vivat
And then
et
it's going
Respublica,
on in the song Vivat et Respublica, et qui illam
es
regit.
lebe auch der Staat,
So also
und wer ihn regiert.
long live the state and whoever
Sinne,
is
meine sehr
reigning
geehrten Damen und
it.
Herren, darf
And
ich
in
im
that
Namen des
sense, I would like,
Universitätsrates,
ladies and gentlemen, on
unseren
behalf
Bundesminister
of the University
Bildung,
Council,
Wissenschaft
welcome
und
our
Forschung,
Minister for Education,
Universitätsprofessor
Research and
Dr.
Science,
Martin
Dr.
Ganz
Martin
herzlich zur heutigen
Polaschek, and I would
Inauguration
like to
an der
welcome
Universität für
him
Bodenkultur
for
willkommen
that
heißen.
inauguration at the University of Bodenkultur, Life Sciences.
Ebenfalls begrüße ich
And I would also
ganz
like
herzlich
to
unsere
welcome
Bundesministerin
our
für
Minister
Landwirtschaft,
for
Regionen,
Agriculture,
Tourismus,
Regions
Elisabeth
and
Köstinger.
Tourism,
Herzlich willkommen.
Mrs. Elisabeth Köstinger. Welcome.
Ebenfalls
And
herzlich
I would also
willkommen heißen
like
darf ich
to
den zweiten
welcome
Präsidenten
the
des
second
niederösterreichischen
president
Landtages, Karl
of
Moser,
the
und die
Lower
amtsführende Stadträtin der
Austrian
Stadt Wien für
Parliament,
Kultur und
Karl
Wissenschaft,
Moser
Magistra
and
Veronika
Magistra
Kaup-Hasler.
Veronika Kaup. She is the representative of culture in the Viennese Parliament.
Hohe Festversammlung, meine sehr geehrten
Dear
Damen und
ladies
Herren
and
und
gentlemen, honored
die über
guests,
Livestream Teilnehmenden.
and all the ones who participate
Nun werde ich die Begrüßung
online. I
fortsetzen.
would like to continue
Und das ist
my
bei dieser
welcome
hohen
speech,
Anzahl
and as
an
we
sehr
have a
honorigen
very high
Persönlichkeiten
number of
durchaus eine Challenge.
honored persons, this is
Jeder
honorable
Einzelne,
persons, this is a
jede Einzelne
challenge.
müsste nun begrüßt
Every
werden.
individual should be
Das ist aber
welcome
erstens
now,
zeitlich
but
nicht
that
möglich und
is
zweitens
not
steht
possible
heute
due to time
unsere neue
reasons,
Rektorin
and
mit ihrem Team
our
im
new
Mittelpunkt
rector
dieses Festaktes.
with her team should be
So
honored
weiß ich, dass
today.
ich mich jetzt
And
bei der
I
Fortsetzung
know
der
I
Begrüßung auf
have,
Glatteis begebe.
when I'm continuing the welcome
Aber
speech,
in
it's a
meinem
quite
Zivilberuf bin
dangerous
ich
thing,
Risikomanager
but I'm a risk
und so hoffe ich,
manager
dass
in
ich
my
dieses
civil
Risiko so
profession,
halbwegs unter
and so
Kontrolle
I hope I
haben werde.
can manage that
Ich
risk.
darf Sie bitten, aus
I would
zeitlichen
like
Gründen
to
erst wieder am
ask
Ende
you
der weiteren Begrüßung kräftig zu applaudieren.
to
Und ich werde Ihnen
give
dazu
your
auch ein Zeichen
applause after the end of my welcome
geben. Bitte
speech.
jetzt schon um Nachsicht, dass
And
ich
now
bei
I
der weiteren
ask
Begrüßung
you
aus
to
Zeitgründen
excuse myself
die vielen,
that
vielen
I
akademischen
cannot
Grade nun
welcome
weglassen werde.
and mention all the
Begrüße
academical
auf das
titles.
Allerherzlichste die
I would like
Präsidentin
to
der
welcome the
Rectorin Sabine
President
Seidler
of
von der
Unica
Technischen
Sabine
Universität
Seidler
Wien
of
und
the Technical
den Rektor
University
Thomas
of
Hase von der
Vienna
Hochschule für
and
Agrarpädagogik
Rector
und
Thomas
Umweltpädagogik.
Hase of the
Rektorin
University for
Ecker von der
Agrarian
Wirtschaftsuniversität,
Pedagogics, Mrs.
Rektor
Hanecker of the
Peter
Economic
Riegler von der
University,
Universität
Mr. Peter
Graz,
Riegler of the Karl
Rektor
Franzens
Peter
University Graz,
Sklenicka von der Czech
Mr.
University of
Peter
Life Science,
Sklenicka
Prague,
of the Czech Republic of
Vitam
University
Vas,
of Life Sciences,
Pane
Vitam Vas, Pane
Rektorin
Rectore,
Ulrike Süch von der Universität
Mrs.
für Musik und
Ulrike
Darstellende
Süch of
Künste
the University
und
for
Rektorin
Music,
Peter Winter von der
and
Veterinärmedizinischen
Rector
Universität
Peter
Wien.
Winter of the Veterinarian
Stellvertretend
University
für die
Vienna.
vielen
Representative
Ehrenträgerinnen
for
der
the
BOKU darf ich
many
die Ehrendoktoren,
honorable persons, I
den
would
ehemaligen
like to welcome the
Bundesminister und
honorary
ehemaligen
doctors,
Uniratsvorsitzenden
the
der BOKU,
former
Hans Duppi,
Minister
und
Hans
den ehemaligen
Duppi
Rektor der Technischen
and the
Agraruniversität
former
Prag,
rector of Jiří Palak of
die
Agrarian
Ansenatorin
University
und die
of
ehemalige
Prague,
Bundesministerin
and the
Nora
federal
Hostach
minister,
und den
Minister
Ehrensenator Peter Eisenschenk,
Mrs. Hostach
Bürgermeister der
and the
Stadt Thun,
honorable
einen Standard
Senator
haben, das
Mr.
herzlichste begrüßen.
Eisenschenk.
Herzlich willkommen
So I
heißen
would
auch
like
die
to
alten
welcome
Rektoren.
all the
Universitätsprofessoren
former
Manfred
rectors, Mr. Manfred Wehlan, Peter Biffel, who was also the head of the university committee, Mr. Dürnstein and Martin Gerzabek, and as a representative for the vice rectors of our university, I would like to welcome Mrs. Sabine Baumgartner and the former vice rector for finances and now head of the supervisory board of the ÖBB, Andrea Reitmeier. She is my boss at the ÖBB, which is the Austrian Railroad Organizations. Then I would like to welcome Secretary General Gerhard Meyer of the Ministry for Agriculture, Mr. Elmar Pichler for the Ministry of Sciences, and Mr. Christian Holzer representing the minister. And as a representative for the stakeholders, I would like to welcome representatives of BIC. They are the owners of our real estate, Mr. Kleisner, and as a representative of all members of the University Council, I would like to welcome Mr. Psena and the head of the Senate, Gerda Schneider, and the representative of the students, Mrs. Stephanie Nickel. And now I allow you to give your applause. Before I leave now the dangerous zone, I would like to welcome, last but not least, Mr. Haslauer and the new rector, Eva Schulev-Steindl, with her team, which was unanimously elected. Mr. Wentenschuh, Mr. Mannsberger, Mr. Obinger, and Mr. Karsten, Schulz, all vice rectors. Ladies and gentlemen, before saying thank you to the old rector and the representation of the new rector, a few thoughts about the future of the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences, because we have our 150-year anniversary today. It's not doubted at all that unfortunately we are facing big challenges. We have the war in the Ukraine, and besides the unmentionable suffering, we also have drastic, of course, effects to the supply of food. We have a climatic and an energy crisis, and we still are not sure how the pandemic will continue. But we also know that the crisis was always the germ for a positive development. What do I want to say with that? What is our teaching? Well, unlimited economic growth with maximization of profit, just exploiting nature is old thinking. This old thinking will be exchanged by young people and is criticized by young people. And unfortunately, they are not always listened to. Too strong are still the other forces. One is clear. Just to continue as we did before is not an option anymore. The wealth of a society cannot be measured only with GNP, and this is a fatal decision. That means we have to think new about economy. In the economic calculation, we also have to include nature. What about the condition of nature? What about the soil? What about water? How much soil was destroyed by building? How much water has been decomminated? How much fossil energy has been consumed again? These are subjects which must be continued, which must be discussed, because this is the future of our children and grandchildren. And what we need additionally is, besides GNP and the natural capital, in an economic calculation, we also need human capital. How do people live in our economic system? And it is necessary that the chief criteria, environmental, social and governance, and which must be an obligation for enterprises, and especially our university is the sustainable university, and we offer future and good education for young people. Well, we have the certain competences for engineering and for social and economic teaching. Our university can help to overcome crises, which I have mentioned. There's only one subject. We are talking about the existence of this planet. And for that, we need good teaching and research conditions according to our law that research and teaching should be free. And allow me to say, if there is where not our university today, it should be founded tomorrow.
Sehr geehrte Damen und Herren,
dear ladies and gentlemen,
die BOKU ist heute
our university is one of the leading life sciences universities in Europe. This is due to the excellent work of our predecessors. As a representative, I would like to say to the older rector, the former rector, Mr. Hasenauer, because he has continued that direction in a very consequent way. Now it's up to Mrs. Schulev-Steindl with her team to continue that direction. Since the 1st of February, she's at the head of our university. Now I would like to present her to you. Mrs. Schulev-Steindl was born in Vienna after she had worked in economy for a few years. She started to study. At that time, there was not the possibility to study economic law. But both studies were fascinating her, and so she just did both economic and law, which she studied at the Economic University and at the University of Vienna. Since 1986, she was at the University of Vienna as an assistant, and at that time she finished the LL.M studies at the London School of Economics, and she became PhD of Law. 2003 she was assistant professor at the University of Vienna, and 2003 she made her habilitation for constitutional law, and she was working as an extraordinary professor. Apart from that, 2007 she was a teacher at the Economic University in Vienna, and 2010 at the University of Klagenfurt. In our university, she has been connected very closely for many years. 2008, 2014, she was a professor for law, and since 2009 she was a vice Senate president, and 2015 she started teaching at the University of Klagenfurt in the law section. Since 2018 she was a professor at the Medical University Graz. Since winter semester 2019 she was vice dean of the law faculty in Graz. So you see, according to her CD, that she is a very special person. And since 94 days she has been the rector of our university for life sciences. When you ask in Austria who is the number one in environmental law, you always get one answer: Eva Schulev-Steindl. She is a specialist for environmental law in Austria and on an international level. Since the beginning of her career, sustainability law subjects are very important in her research and teaching work. For many initiatives, she made the base. Let me mention a few for the Working Group Climatic Law at the Climatic Change in the Center Austria and the Academy of Sciences. And 2019 they started a cooperation with the Law University in Peking, the Chinese Law Summer School, or 2020 the Research Center for Climatic Law was founded in Graz. These are only a few examples for her extraordinary national and international commitment for environmental law. Ladies and gentlemen, with Eva Schulev-Steindl we have elected a rector which has high qualities as a specialist, as a human being. She has a high social competence together with communication abilities, and also she is appreciating all people working at the university, all students, all teachers, all research specialists, all co-workers and all organs. And we can feel that appreciation. Diversity and equal rights are very special for her. Magnificence, Professor, Magistra, Doctor, Eva Schulev-Steindl, LL.M. We are very glad that our university can have you as a rector. Congratulations. Before I will say my welcoming words, let's have a minute of memory for the victims of the Ukrainian war. We think about people who lost their life on both sides. We also think about the million of Ukrainian citizens who had to leave their country as refugees, and we are grateful that they are supported everywhere, also in Austria. And also the Russian opposition representatives need our help. Thank you very much. As the head of the Senate, I'm Mrs. Gerda Schneider. I'm accompanying this inauguration of the rector, Mrs. Schulev-Steindl, and her team.
In der Tat, es sind 94 Tage.
Well, 94 days. For 94 days she has been working already, but I think for the Rectorate it seems to be like 200 days because of the work, and we have a very clever decision-making female rector, and she is facing the challenges with her team. And she's looking for cooperation, and the Senate welcomes this good cooperation with the Rectorate, especially in the field of teaching. The BOKU, as a University of Sustainability, offers excellent inter- and transdisciplinary teaching in the bachelor, master and PhD studies. And this three-column principle of the BOKU is really unique. Natural sciences, engineering sciences and technology, and economic, social and law sciences. And they are the base for critical, holistic discussion of social subjects and finding solutions for them.
The curricula
with the strict profile enable individual studies because the students are the most important for teaching. This is valid for all studies at the BOKU, forestry, agriculture, and also natural fiber technology, environmental engineering, cultural and hydropower technology, landscape planning, landscape architecture, bioresources management, and food and biotechnology. And also a good university like our university can improve itself. And so the Senate, together with the Rectorate, initiated the project Improvability, improving our studies and also improving the offers for further training in the sense of lifelong learning and also development of organization and high quality of teaching, which make our university fit for the future. Basic sciences and applied sciences make our university colorful. Our students are well looked after among economy. And I would like to give the floor to the head of the representatives of the students, Mrs. Stefanie Nickel, together with myself. She is moderating the inauguration. And now I ask her to give us her welcome speech. Dear guests, dear appreciated rectors and vice rectors, also on behalf of the students, I would like to welcome you. We are very happy and glad to have the possibility as a representative of all students to welcome you. We appreciate that the biggest stakeholder group is appreciated of university. Let me tell you a small anecdote when we got to know Mrs. Schulev-Steindl. Last year we were working and we had the first meeting at the BOKU. And the first question to us was, how can we improve BOKU and the students' situation in a sustainable way? At that time we could see that Mrs. Schulev-Steindl knows the importance of students, is listening to them and taking it to her heart. This first meeting was very important for us because we could discuss openly about our challenges and could find a good base for future cooperation. We are looking forward to a good cooperation in the interest of the students and the university, because together we would look into the future in a sustainable way. And so we wish you and your team a consistent, trustful based good communication based on mutual respect and understanding. And we also hope that in the future we can work together. Thanks a lot. Well, the city of Vienna has, of course, a good cooperation with BOKU, and the BOKU is having a good cooperation and a good partnership with the city of Vienna. Why? Because we have subjects and we are offering subjects and research work on both sides, which are very necessary, and they are intensively supported by the city of Vienna. And that's why I would like to ask the City Council for Culture and Science, Mrs. Veronika Kaup-Hasler, and ask her to give us a short welcome speech. Well, I would like to continue the welcome speech of my predecessors. I do not want to mention everybody again. Well, I am a performance artist, and with that I would like to honor you all. I welcome all guests, all female and male guests, honored guests, the old ones, the young ones, and we are very happy with BOKU, with your university, because your university is in a city which is the biggest science city in Europe. We have a lot of universities. BOKU is a university of the future. For me, as the Council for Culture and Science, this science, this knowledge is a base for challenges of our time, and this knowledge is very important together with other sciences, with cultural sciences, and with music. And I think we should have a kind of hybrid thinking, this networking thinking, which is very well working at the BOKU, and we had a wonderful cooperation with Rector Hasenauer and his team, and we want to intensify this cooperation. Why? Vienna has a lot of new targets as far as environmental sciences are concerned. We want to have a CO2 neutral city. We have 50 measures to avoid waste. We would like to have new cooling islands, and we want to introduce renewable energy. BOKU is playing a very important role, because with their knowledge they can support us, and we really try to support research and apply results of research work, because we as a city, we want to have quick results. We need you, and that's why we are supporting you in order to do basic research by improving the anniversary funds, which was founded at the 140th anniversary and 2020, and these funds have been now renewed. But another subject is also important for us. We must also raise fun for research. We have to start as early as possible to make young people enthusiasts for research, also with life sciences. And that's why we also started a project together with schools, and we want to show all these interesting professions to young students, and we want to present them to pupils, to young audience. And we want to raise their enthusiasm, because we know having fun with something is always very important. Well, yesterday I opened the Sigmund Freud exhibition, and I just recommend you to go there. So fun is a very important factor, and research should also support that. We are not only talking about our head, we also have other parts of our body, and so we are very happy about this living exchange in order to have this fun cooperation, and we hope that this factor is also continued with the students, with the rector, with the senate of this university.
Ja, vielen Dank für die
So thanks a lot for this joyful words, and also for the serious background which you have mentioned. And now I would like to talk about an aspect. Well, the BOKU is not only represented in Vienna, but thanks to the support of the province of Lower Austria and by the city of Tulln, there is also a very positive development. They offer rooms for our university, they offer college. As a representative of the President of the Parliament, Mrs. Mikl-Leitner, I would like to ask the second President of the Lower Austrian Parliament, Karl Moser, to welcome our guests. Dear Rector, Mrs. Vice-Rector, dear Vice-Rectors, dear Rectors of the partner universities, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear honored guests, I'm so happy that it was possible for the Minister to come, and I'm very happy to give you the welcome words of our President, Hanni Mikl-Leitner. She is now in the United States, together with an economic and science delegation in order to also get new experience for Lower Austria and also to promote Lower Austria. Well, here you have 150 years of BOKU, of sustainability, but also of thinking ahead. And this is a good base for an inauguration. And I would like to thank the old rector, if I may say so, because, as you said already, Lower Austria has a good tradition, but also a very successful cooperation with the University for Life Sciences. It is a good partnership, and I would like to thank the old rector and everybody who took responsibility for the expansion of your university to Lower Austria, to Tulln, but also to other places. And this was a successful expansion. Thanks for the good partnership. Partnership is important for Lower Austria, which makes us different from the Germanies, because they say it's different. One is the partner and the other is taking the command, but we understand partnership differently. And especially you, Mrs. Rector, you have the SDG targets of the United Nations, and I'm very happy about that. I'm also one of the founders of a sustainable school, and I think that sustainability is very important for universities and for the future orientation. In that sense, I wish the University of Life Sciences, well, it has been said already, if this university did not exist, it must be founded today, and we are very happy that we have this university in Vienna and also in Lower Austria. And this is a good example for the whole world. It's a big challenge, but I'm sure that you will look after this university. But I'm also looking forward to a good cooperation with the province of Lower Austria, and we wish you that you might succeed to promote this university on a national and international level. And I wish you a lot of joy, and I wish you success and health for that big task.
Die Forschungsfelder der BOKU,
well, the research fields of the BOKU are very closely linked with agriculture, regions and tourism. So these are the subjects of the ministry on the head of which is Mrs. Elisabeth Köstinger. And I would like to ask Federal Minister Elisabeth Köstinger to welcome our guests. Magnificences, appreciate Mr. Minister Martin Polaschek, dear guests. To be honest, also in the life of a minister, it does not happen so often that you are invited for a 150-year-old university. And that's why this celebration, together with the inauguration, is something very special. And I would like to congratulate, because 150 years of a University of Life Sciences means 150 years of diligence, looking ahead, and a basic values. For this university, you are celebrating 150 years of being founded, and of course our ministry is closely linked with your university because of our mutual competences, and I would like to thank the university. I would like to thank for the intensive and good cooperation. I'm very glad to be present today at this celebration, because this is also an inauguration, and today with Mr. Eva Schulev-Steindl and her team, who is at the head, is an excellent day, and it's an excellent team. Magnificence. I wish you a lot of success for the University of Life Sciences, and I wish you the courage, the enthusiasm, the passion which you have shown in your scientific life already, and I hope you continue with that at the University of Life Sciences. And I would also like to thank all members of the Rectorate, and I would like to promise you our support, especially when we are dealing with future challenges. And I think research, science, teaching, of course, must work together, must find a mutual vision. They must stay open to learn new things. And this is the reason why we are all here. And I'm convinced that future subjects will be settled with looking ahead, with considering the future generation. And also we have to concentrate on the core competences and find new subjects. And especially the younger pastime has shown that we are succeeding. And here I would like to thank Hubert Hasenauer for the past years. You were a very important partner for my ministry. The University of Life Sciences and the Ministry of Agriculture, Regions and Tourism are very closely linked. We have mutual targets, and we would like to do that also in the future. But of course the core competences, the challenges have changed. After World War II, we had an increase of production in agriculture and also in forestry. And especially the supply of population with cheap food was important, but with development of technology and wealth has changed something, also the consumption of resources. And during the last years, environmental and climatic protection of resources became a very important subject. And when we think about today's situation, 2 years of pandemic with a lot of changes, and then the war in the heart of Europe, and here we have to create the following. These two supplies, the guarantee for supply, which has been very important since World War II, protection of resources must be combined, and I could not imagine a better place than the University of Natural Sciences and Life Sciences. It's very important for us. I appreciate, ladies and gentlemen, are your students. And I think when we as a country look into the future, we have to pay attention to the following. And that is the next generation. We have to encourage them. We should not always think about disasters, but we should also think about new solutions. This is very important. And as an anecdote has been told, I also would like to tell an anecdote. 2 weeks ago, I was driving in the car with my 4-year-old son, and he told me, "Mama, can you open the window for the science?" And then I said, "Did you really say for science reasons?" And I was very curious, and I asked him, what does it mean, science? And he said, well, I do not know something and I have to do research work. And I was really impressed because that is science. And then with 120 kilometers per hour, I opened all the windows, and he was enthusiastic. He was glad. He didn't imagine that it is so loud that you can hardly breathe because there's so much wind. And then he said, wow, I learned a lot now. And this little anecdote of my son, I would like to tell you. Encourage our young people, let them learn, let them make their mistakes. And we should also encourage them to find their own experiences beyond trends and mainstream in order to have a positive future. Thank you very much. Congratulations for this celebration and all the best.
Auf die Grußworte
after this words of the Ministry for Science, Mr. Martin Polaschek, we are looking forward because universities have to face a lot of challenges and they need additional support of the Ministry for Education, Science and Research. Professor Polaschek, please welcome our guests. Magnificence, spectabilities, representatives of politics and different parts of the social and scientific life, dear students, especially dear Eva. Well, I'm looking forward that I am able to be at your inauguration. It was the 6th of August when you sent me an SMS that you have been elected rector. How quickly time passes by. And I'm very happy that I can be with you today. During the 18 years of a university manager, I was present at inaugurations, but today I'm a little bit nervous because it's the first time I do it without the talar, without my gown, and I feel a little bit naked, but I love to do it because we both, of course, have known each other for quite a long time. An inauguration like that is a very special celebration. You will feel it, especially when the inauguration is past, because it is the first official possibility that a rector can present her team and can tell about her university. And this is a kind of spirit which will be important for the whole period. I do not want to raise pressure, dear Eva, because I know that you will manage this wonderfully, and your anonymous election in summer has shown that you have the confidence of the University Council, and you also have the confidence of all colleagues in that house. And this is a wonderful base for you and your team. I had the possibility to know you as a professor and as a vice dean at the University of Graz during your work, but of course I knew you before as a professor, as a teacher at this university, but we have known each other when we were both working as scientific assistants at universities. And now you have the possibility to share your experience and your appreciated knowledge in research for the well-being of your university, which is now your university and for which you have the responsibility together with her team. And for the good future of the BOKU, it will be important to continue that work, to sharpen the task profiles and to develop successfully research work. I appreciate BOKU very much with her research work in biodiversity, sustainability, climatic protection, combined and connected with technical support. So challenges of our time are very well faced by this university, also for our society as a kind of third mission. It has been mentioned today, we are changing, our world is changing. We are facing a lot of challenges because of the pandemic, because of the war in the Ukraine, and nobody knows what will happen during the next years. And we all have to ask ourselves, what can we as universities do? How can we contribute to help people to live in these changing times and be happy? How can we contribute in order to improve our social and state structure and keep it in a time of peace and wealth? This is concerning, of course, our university tasks, that is creation of knowledge, preserving of knowledge. Universities offer methods and knowledge, and they have to save all that knowledge. They have to develop it further in order to answer new questions. And especially in times when we know less and less which informations are true or false, we still have to make available this knowledge more than ever. Universities means precise knowledge. The knowledge which can be found at universities can be asked, can be discussed, and is available, accessible for everybody. But of course we have to consider our standard, our quality standard, and we have to introduce that knowledge in official discussions. Universities must be the place where all this development can be discussed with all its effect, because where else can we find critical discussions if not at universities? It's up to the universities. It is their task to reflect critically, to show the mirror to society, and they have to do it today more than ever. Universities are not only a place of meeting and of open discussion. Universities are places of scientific and intellectual discussion, but also of human meetings, of human discussions. They are not only institutions, but universities have a soul and a heart. They have a long tradition. They have very clear values and integrity. They must be open to social discussions. And we all have to preserve universities as a place where we can speak freely, not only for ourselves, but also for the development of our society. And all these endeavors have to consider that we are talking about people working at universities. These are our co-workers. These are the employees of universities in all areas, and also the students. But we are also talking about all people who are cooperating with our universities, who have contact with our universities, who are interested in our universities, because the transfer of scientific knowledge to the society is very, very important. And we need good communication between research and population. We have to fight against enemies of science, and we have to support our democracy by doing that. Dear Eva, dear Mrs. Rector, you will have a lot of work to do together with your team. You are the head of one of the most acknowledged institutions of our country, of a sustainable university in Europe, which is a very attractive employer, having its 150-year university. It's the only university in Austria who is dealing with sustainability in research and teaching, using our natural resources and our life surrounding. But BOKU is a very special university with teachers, with students, with the broad aspect of discussions. University that, despite the dynamic growth, is still a very human university, what we call the so-called BOKU spirit. And I'm looking forward to our mutual exchange in the field of this BOKU spirit, because universities are future, and especially that university. And I ask you to see this university as a place of curiosity, of enabling, in order to reflect the present time with a critical spirit, and where new solutions for tomorrow are found. And this is only possible when we all work for teaching and research, and when we face the challenges which are standing in front of universities and the management, because only together we can cope with that. A lot you have to do, dear Eva. Let me give you a personal advice. You are not only a manager of a university, you will be a great university manager, but you also have to look after your house. You cannot only manage it, you have to look after the well-being of your house and all people living and working in that house. You are the person representing this university. You are its face, you are its voice. This is a beautiful responsibility, but it is a lot of responsibility. Be careful with it, because whatever happens in that house, it will be your responsibility, in a good and in a bad way. You are not working as a rector, you are a rector. Work will never stop, but that's the good thing. And I'm looking forward to our mutual cooperation. I'm looking to our fruitful cooperation as colleagues. And I wish you and your team a lot of success and all the best for your tasks. Long live the University of Life Sciences. Vivat Academia, and vivat Mrs. Rector.
Ja, vielen Dank für
Thanks
die
a
freundlichen
lot
Worte.
for these nice words.
Ein genialer Wiener Musiker,
Well,
Komponist
a
und
very
Arrangeur
good
hat neben
musician
Märschen
of
und
Vienna
Tänzen
has
auch
composed
den
not only
Blues for
dances, but also the
komponiert.
so-called Blues
Die
for
BOKU
Five.
Blaskapelle spielt
And
auf.
now
Bitte sehr.
we have the orchestra of BOKU. Please.
das sind Michael
We,
Pinter
this
und Ina
is
Mattes.
Michael Pinter
Dürfen
and
nun
Ina
die
Mattes.
Vizerektorin und
We
Vizerektoren
ask now
auf die
the
Bühne bitten.
vice rectors to the stage.
Zuallererst bitten wir,
We ask
zuallererst bitten wir Magistra Nora Sikora-Wentenschuh,
Mrs. Nora Sikora-Wentenschuh, Vice Rector for Finances and Infrastructure. Mrs. Sikora-Wentenschuh has been the Vice Rector since June 20 as a Vice Rector for Finances and Infrastructures. After her studies of economy at the University of Vienna, she was working in the company of Deloitte, and their last function was the head of accounting in that company. The next I would like to ask Dr. Christian Obinger, Vice Rector for Research and Innovation. Christian Obinger studied at the University of Vienna chemistry and biochemistry. In 1999 he made his habilitation at biochemistry at the BOKU, and until 2017 he was working in the chemical department. Mr. Christian Obinger, it's the second period as a Vice Rector for Research and
Diplom-Ingenieur Gerhard
Innovation.
Mannsberger,
Mr.
Vizerektor
Gerhard
für
Mannsberger,
Personal,
Vice
Organisation und
Rector
Digitalisierung. Ich
for
darf Sie zu uns bitten.
Personal Organization and
Gerhard Mannsberger
Digitization.
absolvierte das
Gerhard
Studium der
Mannsberger
Forstwirtschaft an der
studied forestry
Nach
at the
Tätigkeiten in der
BOKU.
Privatwirtschaft
After
und als
working in
Sachverständiger
private
im Amt der
economy
niederösterreichischen
and as a
Landesregierung
specialist
war
for
er ab
Lower Austria
1996
since
Leiter der
96,
Forstsektion im
he was the
Lebensministerium,
head of the
dem
forestry
heutigen
section
Bundesministerium für
at the
Landwirtschaft, Regionen
Ministry
und
for
Tourismus.
Agriculture, Region and
2018 ist
Tourism.
Gerhard
Since
Mannsberger in seiner Funktion als
2018,
Vizerektor für
he
Personal,
has been
Organisation
working as a
und
Vice Rector
Digitalisierung
for
an der BOKU
Personal
tätig.
Organization and Digitization at the BOKU. And last but not least, we ask Dr. Karsten Schulz, Vice Rector for Teaching, Education and Students. He is now working for teaching and students. Before he started working at the hydro section of BOKU, he was working at the British Lancaster University in Braunschweig and also at the University of Leipzig and Munich. And now we would like to ask you a few questions which we have collected among students in order to give us a short overview about your program. Mrs. Sikora-Wentenschuh, what is important for you as a Vice Rector of Infrastructure when you are building new buildings? Well, the new buildings of our university are a wonderful example for sustainable building, which are important and which must be visible for a public building. And a second example is, it means also involving all persons. So build buildings which are very well used by students and by teachers, having new teaching elements for innovative research. Thank you very much. Now I would like to ask Mr. Obinger, do you have plans for independent basic research also in order to find third funds or funds of third parties? Thank you for the question. It's a very important question in connection with the question that we have a lot of funds of foreign sides, of foreign partners. We are depending on these funds. Just one figure, 1/3 of the budget of our university is financed by third parties, and it is important for a rectorate to find the balance between basic and applied sciences. The framework conditions must be guaranteed, and at our university we succeeded very well doing so, and also the new rectorate will pay attention that the basic research will stay important. Why is that important? Because the real innovation, new knowledge are coming from basic research. Scientific output output in the way, in the form of publications is very high, and due to excellent basic research, and it is our endeavor to keep that excellence at our university and to improve it. That means, well, this free spirit of research work will continue at BOKU. The framework conditions will be guaranteed, research infrastructure will be improved, and we will also improve our service for researchers. Administrative expenditures are getting more and more, and of course we have to support researchers in that administration work, and by networking we will also strengthen basic research, and colleagues will be encouraged just to promote basic research. I think about AFF with special basic research, scientific groups, PhD support, but I think also about the Viennese Economy and Technology Fund, and also about European institutions. So all these activities will be promoted by additional funds coming from BOKU, and it is important to consider excellence and initiatives where university spends a lot of money. And as a conclusion, basic research and applied research are belonging together. Basic research is important, will be promoted, but it's belonging together in our university. So applied research is automatically developing from good basic research work, and we will keep that balance at our university. And I also want to state the president of Christian Doppler Society is here. Also applied sciences, of course, pay attention to basic research work. Thank you. The next question is to Mr. Mannsberger. You are also responsible for digitization. Where do you see the best possibilities to reduce barriers for teaching due to digitalization? I want to be shorter now than my colleague. Well, we have tried that for 4 years already. Well, the second possibility is to find now a short sheet of paper to talk to you, but this does not work, and I have to answer out of my heart, which is not so simple, because digitalization and the social dimension, the social inclusion, is not linked, obviously, and that's why it needs strategic orientation, and we have the obligation to develop a strategy for the social dimension. And then, of course, we need suitable tools, measures in order to realize all these tasks. And the head of the Senate gave us the slogan today already: improving and relieving of the possibilities for students. This is very important, where we have to start with digitalization. Thanks a lot, Mr. Vice-Rector Schulz, Dr. Schulz, for teaching and students. Well, there are no exams for new students. We will have an open access for universities. I can answer very shortly, but I have to compete now with research, because teaching sometimes is not appreciated sufficiently, and I will talk a little bit more. Well, we have this access procedures which might reduce the number of students. This might make sense where you have a lot of students and the resources are not sufficient, and you cannot have quality teaching. In that case, it is okay, but on the other side, it's very good when we have open access to our university, and I would like to continue with that as long as we can allow that financially. And now we are asking you very personal questions. Mrs. Sikora-Wentenschuh, what do you like best at BOKU? Well, we have heard today about the BOKU spirit, and this is what I like best. Well, I started at the time July 2020, when nobody was at the university, no students, but at that time we saw already that the cooperation is very important for the BOKU spirit, and that's what I really like for my daily work, to start projects together, to realize projects together, and I'm looking forward. Thanks a lot. My question to Mr. Obinger, Vice Rector Obinger, how do you see the responsibility of university in front of society or for society? Well, indeed, we have said a lot about that subject today already. Maybe a few thoughts from my side. Universities create knowledge, and that knowledge is necessary in order to face the global challenges of humanity. We have heard climatic crisis, a crisis of biodiversity, lacking resources, lacking energy, and during that transformation of our society and during that technology transformation, universities will play an important role, and also BOKU will play an important role, and this networking thinking, this interdisciplinary thinking is in the genes of BOKU. And our university will be very important. A second issue is, well, universities were always an important driver for social and technological innovation. For the economy, universities are important, and I also think a city like Vienna, where a lot of universities are situated, also, is quite attractive as an economic place, because there is a lot of universities. Universities create innovation, they also have their filials, and the third issue, universities must spread that knowledge in society. And what was started 10 years ago with third mission, technology transfer, all these are very important tasks for further education, for interaction with the society, which with explaining research work, and this will strengthen during the next years. Corona pandemic has shown how important universities are and how important it is to have an independent scientific institution. The Minister for Science said already universities will play an important role for democracy. During the last 2 years, it was a very important subject, not only for students, is mental health. Mr. Mannsberger, how do you see the subject of mental health? What do you do in your everyday life for your own mental health? Good question, good question. Well, I'm responsible for health as a vice rector. This is a very important subject. It's not only achievement which is important or performance, also health is important, and we have to pay attention to health. Mr. Minister said already we must look after the institution, but we must look also after the people working at that university, and their mental health is very important. Well, in a function like myself, you are more or less exploiting yourself, and that's why you sometimes need some mental fitness studios. I have 2 fitness studios. One is wood, the forest. the forest which is quieting me, which is supporting my health and my spirit, and the University of our university has confirmed that already in a study. I ordered that when I was still working at the ministry. And the second fitness studio, the second fitness center is music for me. Well, I do it quite rarely, but when I have time, I am sitting at the piano or at the organ, but with headsets, because I do not want to destroy the mental health of my surrounding. And the last question to Mr. Schulz: if you were the Minister of Education for one day, what would you do? That's a very dangerous question. That's a very dangerous question. Maybe one day would not be enough for what I want to do. Maybe I describe what I would do. I would try to get to know my co-workers, talk with them, and the second thing is I will go to the Ministry of Finances, find out what our possibilities today and in the future. And the third, this is also concerning my present task, I think a very important task for schools and nursery schools is to find enthusiastic persons, support these persons, so that they can really work at schools and nursery schools for 20, 30 years. And this is also valid for everybody sitting here. And the third field would be what I saw during the last 3 months. We are talking about examinations, financing. Maybe I would change the financing model of universities, but I do not want to explain that. And finally, you have to relax after all that stress. And then I would relax with sport, not too far from the ministry. I think you do the same things. Okay, wonderful.
Vielen Dank für die
Thanks
Eindrücke.
a lot for all these impressions. We wish you a lot of success and good cooperation.
Ja, wir danken der ÖH für die Vorstellung
So we thank you now for presenting these vice
Wir
rectors.
kommen nun zu dieser
And now we
feierlichen
are
Amtseinführung, und sie
just
umfasst einmal
starting with
die
our
Übergabe des
inauguration,
BOKU-Zepters
which
durch
means
den
handing
Altrektor
over
und die
the
Übergabe
scepter
der
and
Amtsketten.
handing over the
Und ich darf
chains.
zunächst
And I would like to
Professor
ask
Hubert
the
Hasenauer
old
bitten,
rector, Mr.
eine
Hubert Hasenauer,
Ansprache dazu
to
zu
give
halten.
a
Bitte, Hubert.
short speech. Hubert, the floor is yours.
Dankeschön, wir sind ja schon ein
Thanks
bisschen
a
in Feierlaune.
lot.
Also den
We
Eindruck-
would like to start celebrating
Trotzdem
already.
Noch ein paar Worte von meiner Seite.
Well, a few
Sehr geehrte Frau
words
Ministerin,
from my
sehr geehrter Herr
side. Dear
Minister,
Mrs.
liebe Frau
Minister,
Stadträtin,
Mr.
sehr geehrter Herr
Minister,
Präsident,
Mrs. Council of the city,
Magnifizenzen,
dear
sehr geehrter
President,
Universitätsrat, Ehrengäste,
Magnificence, dear guests, dear Rectorate,
liebe Eva, liebe Frau
dear
Rektorin.
Eva, dear Mrs.
Heute ist ein
Rector.
großer Tag
Today,
für dich, liebe
this
Eva
is a
und dein
great
Team,
day
aber
for
auch für die
you and your
Universität.
team, but also for the
So freut es mich,
university.
dass
And
ich
I'm
als
very
bereits ausgeschiedener
happy
Rektor ein paar Worte
as
noch
a
an Sie
former
richten darf und vielleicht
rector
ganz kurz die letzten 4 Jahre
to
Revue
say a
passieren
few
lassen darf.
words about the last
Nach 11
4
Jahren im
years.
Leitungstraining
After
der BOKU, zuerst
11
7 Jahre als
years,
Senatsvorsitzender
I
und dann
was
4 Jahre als Rektor,
7
durfte ich die
years
Entwicklung
working
des
as the
BOKU
head of
gestalten.
the Senate, then
Ich
4
habe
years
diese
as a
Funktionen immer mit
rector.
großer Freude,
I
Demut und
really
Leidenschaft im Sinne der Entwicklung der
fulfilled
BOKU
these
ausgeübt.
functions with great
Es wurden heute
enthusiasm
schon Worte
and
der Würdigung
modesty.
des vergangenen
We were
Rektorates ausgesprochen und ich
appreciating
fand auch jetzt eure
my
Ausführungen
work
sehr
already
treffend, weil
today,
ich kann mich
and
erinnern,
I
dass wir das oft remember how often we discussed it, and with great joy and pleasure I may say that we can hand over BOKU in a very good condition with 3 vice rectors. 4 years ago we started with the slogan BOKU Fit for the Future. The BOKU should be a university for sustainability and life sciences on a national and international level, sustainable goals. A lot has been achieved, but we also had to meet a few challenges which could not be foreseen. For example, Corona was during 2019-21. We changed the budget based on parameters. This started new innovation, and we strengthened administration. We had a good relation between students and teachers. We could support research work. This was a very important target to make BOKU fit for the future. New professors, new departments could be established, core facilities, BOKU-based facilities. We talked about this, also Center for Bioeconomy. And the satisfaction of students is very high, which is important. And Mrs. Minister mentioned this already. The students of our university have very good career chances. Enterprises are looking for our students. And thanks to the good work of my predecessor, we were happy that to open the Ilse Valentin House and the Tübi. And as a rector, you may harvest sometimes what others have sown, and maybe this is also true for our period. We could open the water laboratory, new projects like the new building of the Exner houses, and also new buildings will be started. It was also important for us to establish BOKU on an international networking, and with the African networking universities and the University of Epicur, we could support our international position. We have 2,900 workers and 11,000 students. We have an increasing significance for society and knowledge. And the development plan until 27 is showing this dynamics and showing where we are developing. Another subject cannot be prevented. On the 9th of March, Corona hit us. We had a crisis team and we had to expand digitalization. We coped with the crisis, but this is for the students. Everybody wants to have face-to-face lectures again, because a university without students is a lonely university. International knowledge transfer is the base for establishing this new program. As a leading university of life sciences and sustainability, we found the slogan of our Conference of Future. Looking ahead 150 years. I have been thanked today, and I would like to give that thanking words to my team. Thanks to Sabine Baumgartner, Mr. Obinger, Mrs. Reitmeier, who worked here as vice rectors before, and also to Nora Sikora-Wentenschuh, who started in the July 2020. Thanks to the Council of the University, to the Workers' Council, to the representatives of the students we missed you during the lockdown. Thanks to all our co-workers. Thanks to the Ministry of Agriculture, to the city of Vienna, the city of Tulln, to the province of Lower Austria. You always supported us. Thank you also to our entrepreneur partners. You are all part of our BOKU family. Today is the great day of our new rector with Eva Schulev-Steindl, Sikora-Wentenschuh, Christian Obinger, Karsten, Schulz and Gerhard Mannsberger are a very experienced team, and I'm convinced that they will lead the BOKU into a successful future. And I would like to wish you a lot of success for your future tasks. Dear Eva, we have known each other for a long time when we were working in the Senate. I wish you a lot of strength and pleasure. You ask for some advices. Yeah, you do not give advice to your successor, but I do it like my minister, a small advice. Take a break sometimes, you will need it. And in that sense, thanks a lot. And now I would like to hand over the scepter to you. I do not know the organization. I shall go now, find the scepter and give it to you.
Ja, wir kommen
Okay,
damit
now
zu der
we are
Übergabe der
coming to
Amtsketten.
handing
Und ich
over
darf zunächst
the
unseren
chains,
Vorsitzenden
the
des
functional
Universitätsrates
chains.
nach vorne
I
bitten.
ask the head of our university council to come to the
Ebenso
stage.
die BH-Vorsitzende
Then I
Frau
ask the
Nickel, bitteschön.
representative of the students, Mrs. Nickel.
Dann werden wir uns schon auch in die Nähe der Ketten
Then
begeben.
we are already close to the
Und ich werde
chains,
aus
and
praktischen
now,
Gründen
due to practical reasons, what is the chain for
Das
the
ist diese
rector?
hier,
This
in
is
der Mitte,
this
wie sich
one
gehört.
in the middle.
Das wird. Wir werden nämlich gleich zu diesem besonderen Moment kommen.
There will be now
Und
this special
ich darf
moment, and I
Zunächst einmal
ask
auch unsere Rektorin
I ask,
bitten, zu uns zu kommen. Sie fehlt uns nämlich hier
our
für die Übergabe.
rector
Bitte, Eva.
to come here to the stage, Eva.
So, dann wollen wir uns ans Werk begeben.
Then let's start.
Und das ist schon natürlich eine besondere
Well,
Kette,
this is a very
die ich jetzt
special
dem
chain, a necklace,
Vorsitzenden des Unirates
which I
übergeben habe.
give
Und
to
jetzt
the
kommen
head
wir zu
of the
diesem feierlichen
University
Moment.
Council, and this is now this very special moment.
Auch von meiner Seite.
Also from
Alles
my
Gute.
side, all
Alles
the
Gute
best,
für die
all the
Zukunft.
best for the future. Also, all the best from my side, and let me hand over these flowers to you.
So, noch ein,
Now,
noch ein Foto.
now a picture, of course, is necessary.
Oder damals soll man es weggeben. Soll man es weggeben?
So.
No, I do not know. Shall I take the flowers or not?
Ja, vielen Dank.
Thanks a lot.
So, wir haben natürlich eine bestimmte Reihenfolge.
Now we have a certain
ich darf nun
procedure,
unsere
and now I would like to ask Vice Rector
in unsere
Mrs.
Mitte
Sikora-Wentenschuh to come to the
und
stage.
darf hier die
And
Kette
I
anreichen.
allow me to hand over the necklace.
Auch von meiner Seite.
All the best from my side.
Alles gut.
Congratulations.
Moment, stopp. Hier noch. So. Ich darf nun
Now,
Vizerektor
let me
Obinger
ask Mr. Obinger to come to the stage. Vice Rector Obinger.
All the best.
Herzlichen Glückwunsch.
Congratulations.
Von unserer Seite alles gut.
Also from our side, all the best.
Dankeschön.
Thanks a lot.
Ich darf nun
Now let me
Vizerektor
ask Vice Rector
Mannsberger zu uns
Gerhard
bitten.
Mannsberger to come to the stage.
Nicht notwendig.
He's a very tall man, yes.
Gratuliere. Alles Gute.
Congratulations.
auch von meiner Seite
Also
herzliche Glückwünsche.
all the best from my side,
Unserer Seite.
also from
Gratulation.
us. Congratulations.
Vielen Dank.
Thanks a lot.
Und nun darf ich
Now
Professor Schulz bitten.
let me ask Professor Schulz to come
Wir
to
haben
the
auch natürlich
stage.
für unseren Vizerektor für Lehre
Also,
die Kette.
we have a necklace for our Vice Rector for the
Vorsitzenden
teaching.
weiterreiche.
Gratuliere und alles Gute.
Congratulations, all the best.
Auch von meiner Seite, Karsten.
Karsten,
Alles Gute.
all the best from my side. All the best.
Dankeschön. So. Dankeschön.
Thanks a lot.
Jetzt würden wir alle bitten, zu
And
dem
now
großen
we
Gruppenfoto-
ask you all to come to the stage to make a group picture.
Ja,
Genau.
ein bisschen rüber.
Rüber noch.
Wir müssen noch ein bisschen rüber. Ja. Sie merken, so ist das. Manchmal wird man auch dirigiert.
So sometimes you have to do what others are telling you. Well, applause. Let's have an applaudissement.
Vielen Dank.
Thanks a lot.
Ich sage vielen Dank.
Thanks
Und
a
nun
lot.
spielt uns
And now
unsere
we
Blaskapelle
will
noch mal
listen to
auf
our orchestra
einen
again.
Blues.
And we will listen to
What
a
a wonderful
blues
world
again.
von dem
What a
Altmeister
wonderful
Satchmo
world
aus New Orleans. Bitte.
of Mr. Satchmo of New Orleans.
So, ich darf nun unsere
Now,
Rektorin
I
Eva
would like to
Schulev-Steindl nach
ask
vorne
Mr.
für
Eva
ihre Rede.
Schulev-Steindl,
Wir sind
our
sehr
rector,
gespannt,
to
welche
give her
Zukunft uns führen
speech.
werden.
We are looking forward to hear about the future.
Sehr geehrte Frau Bundesministerin,
Mrs. Minister, Mr. Minister, dear
geschätzte
Martin,
Frau Stadträtin, werter
Mrs.
Herr
Councillor,
Landtagsvorsitzender.
Mr. President
Vielen,
of
vielen
the
herzlichen Dank für Ihre
Lower
Grußworte.
Austrian
Ich
Parliament.
habe mich darüber
Thanks
wirklich sehr
for
von Herzen
your
gefreut.
welcoming
Lieber
speeches.
Herr
I liked that.
Universitätsratsvorsitzender,
Dear
vielen Dank für
head
diese so
of
nette Vorstellung.
the Council, of the
Werte Frau
University Council, thank you for
Senatsvorsitzende,
presenting
lieber
me.
Herr Altrektor,
Dear old
liebe Frau
rector,
Nickel, Sie hören, ich bin ein
dear
bisschen,
Mrs. Nickel,
mit einer Halsentzündung
well, you
beeinträchtigt,
hear my
aber ich
throat
denke,
is not so
verstehen
well,
gut.
but
Also,
I hope you
liebe
will
Frau Nickel,
understand. So, dear
liebe
Mrs.
Gerda,
Nickel,
auch
dear
Ihnen
Gerda,
einen vielen herzlichen Dank.
thanks to you all.
Meine sehr geehrten Damen und Herren,
Ladies and gentlemen,
lassen Sie mich Sie auf eine
let's
kleine
start a
Zeitreise
small
mitnehmen.
time journey now.
Es ist heute in
Let's
25
say
Jahren
we are looking forward
am
to
5. Mai
it's 25
2047.
years later,
Das
it's the
Jahr,
5th
in
of
dem
May
BOKU
2047, the year in which BOKU has its 175-year university, and we are still in that room having an academic celebration. We are honoring, giving awards to 3 persons who were working for BOKU. The first one is in vaccination research. She found a cancer vaccination which made groundbreaking success in medicine. She is one of the top 3% of the highly cited researchers all over the world. Our research lady is still very young, but specialists talk that she will get the next Nobel Prize. What she liked at BOKU was international networking. The bachelor study at biotechnology was given in English, and which made it easier for her to find friends among colleagues of other countries. Then she went to Japan, which is a partner university of BOKU, was a logical consequence. There she made her master and her PhD. She returned to BOKU and she founded a spin-off. The biotech enterprise is now at the stock exchange, and it's no insider tip anymore. The second honored person is the head of a big agrarian and forestry enterprise. He is working with climate-fit grains which were raised and developed at BOKU. He is strengthening biodiversity in his fields with buckwheat and lupins, cultural plants which are not so used so often. He is using smart farming. Light field robots are cultivating the soil without compressing it. A camera recognizes weed which can be then removed on the spot. Robots working with solar energy and are controlled by tablet. The enterprise has big woods. Drones help with reforestry because they are just pushing seedings of woods into the soil. The wood is sold very well. We are in the age of timber, where even big houses are built out of timber. And as the enterprise is smart, there is also a very good work-life balance. Our research can also play basketball, which he has discovered in the team of BOKU Beast during his studies. The third honored research worker is a profession which did not exist in the year 22. She is a sustainability consultant, and she is supporting enterprises to achieve their sustainability targets. That means she is calculating the CO2 footprint of an enterprise. She is defining climate strategy together with the management, and she is establishing corporate sustainability reports as European unit. Law asks from all enterprises. She earns very well, and she helps enterprises to orient in the post-fossil economy economy and to change their kindness performance indicator, the KPI, because Mary Porters has announced that as important for sustainable, responsible economy. She has learned this at the BOKU when she was studying environment and bioresources management, and she was educated according to the three-column principle. With her social, economical, technical and natural sciences and the knowledge, she is very well equipped for interdisciplinary teams. Dear ladies and gentlemen, now we have 3 former students of BOKU who are working in future fit professions and who will help in 25 years to solve central challenges for our society, chances and risks which arise and, as it is said by the European Future Institute, will be determined by mega trends, which can be seen today already. This is a holistic health awareness, which is penetrating lifestyle of people and which got a new significance due to the pandemic. Then the so-called connectivity, which is more than just digitalization and which brings with networking communication man into the center again, and the so-called neo-ecology, which is using sustainability for economy because consumers want it. Featuring future, ladies and gentlemen, or 150 years sustainably looking ahead. That's the slogan of our year. And in the year 2078, BOKU was founded as a small agricultural university. Today, she is one of the leading life sciences universities in Europe. And with her subjects and competences, she is right considering the time, and it is more than fit for the futures. Our research workers are talking about energy supply, nutrition, safety, subjects which are very important, especially when we look at this horrible war in our European neighbors. Our researchers are developing sustainable building and planning the life rooms for our future, which means a connectivity of urban and rural areas and an adjustment of structures and life models. They are dealing with questions of climatic change and social transformation in order to become a sustainable low-carbon society. BOKU is showing a very balanced mixture of basic and applied research work, with more than 5 SCI and SSCI publications per year per professor and a quota of foreign resources of 30% of the overall budget. BOKU is at the head of Austrian universities. We are cooperating with more than 400 partners from economy and public institutions. 21, we had a wonderful year with 78 patent applications and 3 spin-offs. Let me show you 2 examples what is the innovative force of BOKU. Proudly, I would like to say that one of our spin-offs has been awarded the Austrian Founding Award Phoenix. This is an agro-biogel. It is a product which was developed by Gibson Nianhongo, lecturer at the Institution for Environmental Biotechnology. It's the first 100% wood-based hydrogel. It's a gel which is absorbing water, storing it, and then giving it to the soil. It's a biological water reservoir for dry periods, which is then decomposing, becoming humus, and increasing the fertility of the soil for 20 years. Or Carbofeed of Professor Matanovic and his team, very typical for a lot of other biotechnologies innovation. This project was awarded the Phoenix Prize in the category prototype. Why? Because, as it was said by the jury, maybe it's a great breakthrough in the fight against the climatic change made by people, made by men. The BOKU researchers have initiated that yeast fungus is getting its nutrition from CO2 and transforming gas, climate detrimental gas, into protein biomass. This can be used as animal feed or for human nutrition. Special units could be erected beside an industrial park, and they could use the CO2 coming from the chimneys. A very exciting future vision, which has inspired artists of bioart to do creative works, as we could see in a very beautiful exhibition in the Viennese Künstlerhaus. Ladies and gentlemen, you see, our university is very diverse, and also the people working in the university are diverse. We have future-oriented subjects, we have research spirits and curiosity, we have an entrepreneurial mindset, and last but not least, we have social commitment and love for environment and nature. How could that be united? What could be the special point of BOKU, the so-called unique selling point? Let's look back into the history of our university. Manfred Wieland, my predecessor as a professor for law and rector of the BOKU, said at the University of 140 years, BOKU was founded as a green university in the green fields, and it was called Alma Mater Viridis, the green mother of nutrition. Thanks, Manfred, for being here. And Manfred Wieland said this 97 when there was the 125-year University of BOKU. BOKU is special because of its discipline and not because of its ecological orientation, because the founding fathers started with a production-oriented idea, which was typical for at this time of agrarian scientists. Exhausting Mother Earth and the drying up of its possibilities were not imaginable at this time, but still the principle of sustainability is typical for the history of BOKU. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is not astonishing, because economy and ecology have a common root. With Xenophon, which was a student of Socrates, we can read in his book Oikonomicus about agrarian economies, about housekeeping. We can find a good insight in the economic thinking of the old world. It's based on nature. Nature is the base and the subject of economy. Economy and natural household are having an harmonic relation. The principle of sustainability was not yet invented, but it was a natural thing at that time. Sustainability, the green, has been in the DNA of the BOKU from the very beginning. And in that sense, BOKU is the Alma Mater Viridis. In the lingua franca of our time, it is a green university. And as such green university, the university should grow and become successful in the next years. And I wish that it's getting a sharper profile, that it's getting more international, that it's based more on competition, that the practical relations and work are better promoted, and the innovative strengths should be sharpened by new thinking in order to solve global issues. In order to be successful, we as the team of the Rector, we want to be facilitators. We want to think from the future. We want to empower people working at the BOKU. We want to encourage them. We want to enable them to use their potential in an optimum way, because the future chances of our BOKU, of our green universities, are wonderful. We just have to realize them. Thank you very much.
wie die Amtsrede, die Antrittsrede
Well,
der
this
Rektorin
was
gezeigt
the
hat,
first speech of
hat
our
sie das
new
Zepter
rector,
fest in der Hand.
and she is holding the scepter very firmly in
An
her
der Spitze
hand.
des BOKU-Zepters
At
ist
the
eine
head
weibliche Figur.
of the BOKU
Mit
scepter,
Bogen
there
und
is a
Pfeil,
female,
die Göttin der Jagd. Die aber
person,
gleichzeitig
the
wehrhaft
goddess
ist, aber auch
of
steht, wenn wir
hunting.
griechische
She
und
can
die
defend
römischen
herself,
Mythologien
but when we
schauen,
think
steht
about the
auch für
Romans and the Greeks, she is also a
Nachhaltigkeit, sag ich
symbol
mal,
for
weil sie für
sustainability,
Wachsen, weil sie für
because
Natur
she is a
steht.
symbol for
Sie ist
nature,
auch
for
die Schützerin der
growing.
Frauen, ich
She
würde
is
sagen,
the
heute auch der
protector
queer
of
Personen.
women, also
Das
of
heißt,
queer
wir könnten
persons.
sagen,
So we could
ja,
say, well,
die Rektorin und
the
ihr
rector and her
Team ist von
team
himmlischen Kräften
are
begleitet und
supported, is supported by heavenly forces, and she will be assisted by heaven and its
Ich
forces.
glaube, im Namen
Well, I
aller
think
kann
on
ich
behalf
sagen,
of everybody,
dass
I
wir
can say
unserer Rektorin
that
Schulef-Steindl
our
und ihrem
new
Team
rector Eva
für die Amtszeit das
Schulev-Steindl,
Allerbeste
we wish
wünschen
her the best
und
for
der
her
BOKU eine
function,
gedeihliche
and
Entwicklung.
we wish a good development for the University of Life Sciences, the so-called BOKU.
Mein Dank
I would like to
allen,
thank
die heute
everybody
zu dieser feierlichen
who
Inauguration
participated
beigetragen haben.
at this
Und
wonderful
natürlich auch
inauguration.
unseren Gästen, Gästinnen
And I would like to thank all
hier
our
im
guests
Hörsaal
here in
und
this aula
vor den Bildschirmen im
and
Rahmen
in
des
front of the
des
screens
Livestreams.
in the live
Ich
stream.
danke unserer
I would like to thank our
für die
orchestra
musikalische Umrahmung,
for
Umrahmung
the
und
musical
natürlich unserer
accompanying,
BOKU-IT
and I would like to
für
thank
die technische
IT
Abwicklung.
of our university for the
Wir
technical
wollen zum Schluss
application. And
die
finally, we
Bundeshymne
want to listen to
ja,
our federal
hören
hymn,
und ich lade auch
and
ein
I also
zum
invite you
Mitsingen.
to sing it
Und
with
ich darf
us,
Sie bitten, sich dazu
and
zu
I
erheben.
would like, I
Bitte schön.
ask you to stand up.